Hi, and welcome to Investment Banking University, where we teach you how to become an investment banker. Today, we are talking about the very important topic of the consumption process. And the consumption process is extremely important as it relates to the building of a perpetuity. It is important to have an appropriate expectation regarding growth and returns when building a perpetuity. One does not simply build an MVP or a syndication in terms of the perpetuity process and turn on users with a switch. Brands are built one person at a time, and consumption follows a definite process, which is the following. Number one, awareness of methodology via being advocated to directly on a social network or via email. Number two, the methodology adds value for the individual based in reason, and thus the user decides to be a follower. Number three, followership of brand adds value enough so that when the ask is made, become a user, the individual is willing to experiment with usage. Number four, the usage adds value enough so that the user becomes an active user. Number five, active usage adds value, willing to recommend others to become users. And finally, we monetize in step six, where active users pay for usage. Since there is a definite process to consumption, as we've seen above, one's growth hacking methodology should be consistent with this fact. The growth hacking methodology means manually connecting with individuals in various social networks via Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, for example, to first advocate one's startup's methodology. So the first step in growth hacking is to develop thought leadership in the form of a methodology based in reason. Number two, we advocate that methodology in our first contact. Acquire followership. Four, convert followership into users, and then convert users into active users. The key here is to advocate the startup's methodology and then to show traction on the methodology, which we use to gain followership from influencers and turn them into evangelists for the methodology. And this is what we call going viral or scaling as well. Mechanisms like social proof can be helpful as they actually accelerate the willingness to partake in followership or experiment with usage. So what that means is it accelerates the consumption process. But social proof is not a replacement for one by one advocacy of a methodology. Social proof kicks in incrementally, steps up, as the startup hits an extra zero at the end of its followership and user numbers. So for example, 100, 1,000, 10,000, 100,000, 1 million, it actually incrementally accelerates, speeds up the consumption process. So that is a consumption process in growth hacking methodology in relation to the consumption process, which we did at investmentbankingu.com. So pick it up, and it's meant to be taken in correspondence with the course How to Become an Investment Banker, which you can be taking online. You can take it in a weekend format or in a month-long training format. So go to investmentbankingu.com and pick up the book.